Knowledge is not power. Wait, do you mean knowledge is power? No. Imagine you're learning Japanese, reading a novel, or maybe learning gardening, thinking that you're being very productive. But are you? What you're really doing is filling your brain with intellectual garbage. Knowledge is power is something Jupiter would say, right? Because Jupiter is the planet of knowledge, right? But you know what Jupiter plus Rahu would say? Useful knowledge is power. For Rahu, knowledge which doesn't help us in any modern day problem is useless. Knowledge that doesn't eventually get us money or what we want in the material world is useless. Jupiter treats every piece of information like gold, but Rahu knows that in reality, most of it isn't. Now, the secret to the filtering of what is important knowledge and what is useless knowledge, or what, if I may put it like astrologically, Jupiterian knowledge and Rahu knowledge. Rahu asks two questions. The first question is very simple. It just asks, does this thing actively contribute to the life I'm trying to build? For example, coding and math. Okay, they teach logic. So a lot of professions need coding and maybe math and logic most of all. So if something teaches you logic, that's important. Languages, because languages test your memory and contextual power. So that is also helpful in a lot of cases. Politics, because politics teaches us people management and human psychology. And there is no workplace in the world where corporate office politics doesn't happen. I have experienced this myself. I have been a very active player of politics in wherever I worked and wherever I studied. So I know this from experience. Human psychology is a master skill for this era. And Rahu is the master of that. Rahu is the significator of that. Now, the second question that Rahu asks is that, is this skill that I'm trying to learn for my current reality? Or is this for some hypothetical, ideal, fantasized future? Now, see, this idealized, optimistic future scenario is something that Jupiter controls. And Jupiter doesn't care about reality or what is actually helping you. It just creates an idealistic, optimistic situation in its mind and compels you to chase that. But no, here we are not operating according to Jupiter alone. Here we are looking at Rahu and Jupiter. So, hear me out. For example, there is this girl from, let's say, Himachal Pradesh that you really like. Now, you don't know that she likes you back or not. But what you do is you start learning the language of Himachal Pradesh just in order to impress that girl and get into talking terms with her. Now that is a very Jupiter oriented activity. Now again, not the love and the infatuation part because that is Venus's domain, but act of acting on an idealized perfect scenario. The girl doesn't like you yet, so you don't have anything in reality. You are just hoping that by doing this the girl might like me. And that is the Jupiterian philosophy at play. And that is what I'm trying to tell you about. Now, nothing happens between you and the girl, but you still learn an unnecessary language. The problem with this approach is that learning anything needs time. You have to spend at least, they say, 10,000 hours to learn a skill properly. And if you're learning something that doesn't help you in your reality, your actual in hand reality, that's useless. What is it for? So, the moral of the story is to prevent burnout. And if we waste our time on these idealistic situations, which we are probably never going to get into, or maybe they're too far off, or maybe they'll never manifest in our real lives, we are always at the risk of burnout, because burnout is not caused by doing something again and again. It is caused by doing something again and again with no hopes of a reward. That's what causes the actual burnout. If you work on a thing you're interested in, you'll never feel that burnout, or you'll feel burned out very rarely. But if you're just doing something for a momentary satisfaction and then you keep on doing it, and then eventually you burn out, that's what happens. And that's what happened with Jupiter. So, this is where we bring in the Rahu in this entire game. Rahu's concepts are very clear. It classifies skills into two things. There is a set of tools and then there is a set of toys. Now, tools are the things which you realistically need in your own life to build what you want based on the questions that we just asked ourselves a few moments ago. It builds your life. It is something you should obsess over. It is something you should spend hours learning and practicing. And then there is a section of toys. Skills that are okay, you like doing them, fine, good. You learn them till a point that okay, they entertain you, and then you leave them. You just get entertained, they entertain your mind, and then you just get done with them. Now, it is upon you to decide which skills are your tools and which skills are your toys. Your tool could be my toy, and my toy could be your tool. So there is nothing generalized about this video. You have to decide upon your own. You have to decide for yourself. Now, if I'm talking about myself, there are some skills which look smart to me, but in reality, they're not that smart because they have never helped me much. First is this chess. Man, I have no words for people who flaunt their chess skills. It is just a game, and there is no correlation between being smart and being good at chess. I have seen countless people who play great chess, but they are really stupid. But again, I won't get into my personal vendetta against chess. It's just something I don't like. Then there is politics. Now, politics, I am a big fan of politics. Like I mentioned before, also, I love politics. But I love doing politics, not learning about politics or not the politics that goes around. Okay, that's fine for the drama part or for some entertainment purposes, but no, it's not really my calling. My calling is more towards doing politics. Like if I have to lead people, if I have to do something for the society, that is where my inclination is. Then I think I would say news. News is something again. Consuming news, and trust me, news, a lot of it is just garbage. It's just recycled noise. So if you really want to, study news, that there are better sources of doing it. But the news that is consumed in the typical sense, in the today's era sense, it's just very noisy for me. So I don't really resonate with that. And then there is fandom. See, I love fandom, okay, but it's not something that I would spend 10,000 hours doing. It's just an entertainment. I love comics and I read them a lot because I love reading. I read them and then I just leave them in the shelf. That's all. That's just it. And when somebody talks to me about it, I can okay, have a great conversation, but not more than that. I just don't, obsess myself over fictional situations and fictional worlds. The second set of things that I consider skills is visual thinking, creativity. Creativity has played a very important role in my life. Again, so I value creativity and design thinking, visual thinking a lot. Writing. I love to write. Okay, and I just think, and I think it's a very famous personality said this also, that if you can write well, then you can think well. So, okay, I don't know who said that, but I think it's true. It's true for me, at least. Reading comprehension. I love reading, like I said. But reading comprehension is another activity. It's not just skim reading, something you do with comics and novels. It is consuming knowledge. It is just, absorbing knowledge like a sponge. You read one book and you are through with it. You're just so thorough with it, inside and out. And then human psychology. I love reading humans. It's where my astrology obsession also comes from. Humans are the most interesting books ever written. They can teach you so much, and they're walking case studies, every single one of them. And this is something I love doing. So I can spend countless hours learning how to read and study humans. Because the work I am in also involves dealing with a lot of people. So this is another job need that I have. So that's why. And then public speaking. I love public speaking. It's something that I've been doing for the longest time, I remember, and I just love to get on a stage and speak and address a huge crowd of people. That's just a calling for me, and I can just practice hours and hours and hours doing that. It's something that comes from within me. So people, long story short, I do not mean to undermine any skills. All skills are beautiful, all skills develop your brain in some way or the other. But my only argument is that, is that skill important for you, for your life, for the reality that you are trying to build? This is a question I leave you with, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you in the next one. And that's the problem with this idealistic approach.